Hello, my name is Robert Crowley. I'm going to talk to parents and guardians about the IEP process. This process can be daunting, and hopefully this video will prepare you, the parent or guardian, for the process. I would suspect that pre-referral interventions were not successful, which brings us to our next course of action, which would be an official or just a referral, as it's called in the process. This referral could have been initiated by you, the parent, myself, the teacher, or even another staff member, or even one of your own service providers like a physician or nurse. Now, before any steps take place prior to this referral, you as the parent or guardian must provide written consent before we proceed with any kind of evaluations or assessments. Now, the next phase is once we do get the consent, the public agency or school, which we refer to as ourselves as a school, has 60 days to complete the initial evaluation. Evaluation data is used to determine whether the child is a child with a disability as defined under Part B of IDEA, which is the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. Then a group of qualified professionals and the parents, drawing upon information from a variety of sources, including aptitude and achievement tests, parental input, and teacher recommendations, as well as information about the child's physical condition, social or cultural background, and adaptive behavior to determine the educational needs of the child, will be determined with those evaluations. The next step would be determining eligibility after the evaluations would complete. The professionals' testing and other criteria will vary for each student, and once the evaluations are complete, information gathered is used to categorize those who have a disability and are eligible for special education services. Now, once we get through that portion, then the main part happens, and the next step is to develop the IEP. Now, you as the parent play an important role in this, and in fact, IDEA and most of the literature lists the parent as the primary team member in the IEP meetings. And of course, as we just said, an IEP is formed. An IEP team formed includes a child's parents or guardians, educators, administrators, and other specialists. And no matter what the disability a child has, there are 8 key components that must be present in an IEP. First, a statement of the child's present levels of academic achievements and functional performance, which is pretty self-explanatory, and this will be based off of the current information we have, of course. A statement of measurable and annual goals, including academic and functional goals. And this would also include a description of how the child's progress toward meeting the annual goals will be measured and when periodic progress reports will be provided. And that's all determined in this IEP process. Also, a statement of the special education related services, supplementary aids and services to your child or provided for your child would also be listed depending on your child's needs. A statement of the program modifications or support for school personnel will also be provided. And this is so we can make those particular accommodations that we were talking about based on your child's particular disability. This would also include other non-academic activities, as we really like children with disabilities and even non-disabled children to intermingle, socialize with each other, because it's important for the overall well-being of all students. An explanation to the extent, if any, to which a child will not participate with non-disabled children in the regular class and in extracurricular and non-academic activities. Now, this is really related to certain students that might be on the more severe end of the spectrum. Not knowing where your child falls at this point, it would be, excuse me, prejudging any type of assistance and accommodation, that where or how they will participate. Also, statement of any of the individual accommodations that are necessary to measure the academic achievement and functional performance of the child on state and district-wide assessments. And again, referring to those particular types of accommodations that we talked about before. And also to if the IEP determines that a child must take an alternative assessment instead of a particular regular state or district-wide assessment, the IEP must include a statement of why the child cannot participate in the regular assessment, which of course would just pretty self-explanatory. And then finally, the projected date for the beginning of the services and modifications and the anticipated frequency, location, and duration of those services and modifications, which the majority, of course, would take place at school, but we do have certain testing that does take place within the school system, but at another location. Obviously, we would let parents in on that if needed. Parent and student involvement in the IEP process. This would include guardians as well. A parent has to understand they have not just a right to participate in all their child's IEP meetings, they're legally responsible to participate as per the directives outlined in IDEA. And again, parents are typically listed as the first participant in a student's IEP team meeting. As the parent and guardian, your input is important throughout the process and throughout your child's entire schooling. And this starts with your child's first evaluation and continues right through the transition plan in his high school IEP, which we'll talk about further down the road. One of the best ways also to advocate for your child is to be an active member of their IEP team. As the parent, you know your child best, and that insight is crucially beneficial to the IEP team to help best plan for the education of your child. I know this was short and only an overview, but I hope there was enough information to provide an expectation to the IEP process. The review processes occur annually with contact points throughout each semester for progress and status updates. Daily communication is conducted within the student's home folder, and of course, we're always available via email for more in-depth conversations. The lines of communication are always open to contact us at any time. Thank you for listening, and have a great day.